wrestling teaches you a lot. Not just on the mat, the skills here, but there's things you learn here that you can translate to your life. All right, things that can help you overcome certain challenges. And if we don't focus on those things that we can use in our everyday life, we're doing you guys a disservice. All right, we want to help you and coach you so you can take these things and be successful in your life. And we have an awesome opportunity today. A good friend of mine, he's been on a national speaking tour. He's been traveling around all across the country speaking to different schools, different wrestling groups. And he hit me up, said, hey, I'm going to be in Arizona. Would love to drop by the room. So I got super excited. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to a great guy. This is Rich Jensen, and he talks about being a champion in life. So let's give him a hand.
Hey, I know it was a short workout, but good job, guys. Give yourselves a one clap. One clap. All right. Give your coaching staff one clap, too. All right. Hey, guys, listen, you guys have, you're wondering what I'm doing here, man. I'm on a national tour, and I love dropping in and supporting and bringing a little value to wrestling rooms around the country, You guys have a couple of great examples. Coach has dedicated a few decades to wrestling. Obviously, it's a big part of his life. Anthony, we know his story. It's an incredible life story. He's just an incredible guy of integrity. He's circled back around, and he's really an important part of the sport of wrestling. So they're great examples, guys. This is bigger than winning a match. So much bigger, and you may not realize that right now, but if you're later on in life, you're going to look back at it, and your wrestling career is going to help you through some tough times in life, and that's what we find. We're finding this to be true. Guys like myself battled some tough times too, and I can only imagine, some of the struggles along the way for your coach, and then, but for both of us to find our way to wrestling, from two completely different animals, two completely different avenues, but yeah, I'm a national champion. I've won a few wrestling matches, guys, but in that process, I was able to rebuild my life through this sport. There was a time in my life where my life was hopelessly addicted to drugs. I was living at a homeless shelter 19 years ago, okay? So I understand what real struggle is, and I understand how I got there, and I know that some of the choices I made kind of put me in a position to find myself to that place in my life at 34 years old, And looking back on my life, I remember when I was a kid in the wrestling room, coaches were great role models for me. I was working hard, Wrestling was a great place for me. I was a part of the community. I was a wrestler, had good friends. But honestly, guys, a little vaping, a little bad choices, a little bit of drugs can snowball, man. It can snowball. It can easily happen to anybody in this room, man. I'm not that special. This happens to kids, man. And drugs today are way different than they were 20 years ago. Or 30 years ago when we were kids, guys. It's a completely different animal, And so, that's what I do. I talk about some of the pitfalls I faced in my life. That's what I know. I'm an expert at really screwing up your life, man. And, I'm a kid that had dreams and aspirations and goals for my life. I wanted to go on and succeed and be a college athlete and get an education. Those are the things I aspired to do in my life. And so life threw me a little bit of a curveball, really, really unexpectedly. And I had a really hard time making a comeback, guys. Today, the drugs are killing kids. They're killing people, man. Back then it was like you could become an addict and kind of mess up your life. Well, today it's a completely different thing. So we got to think about some of the choices we're making, But yeah, you guys are out there vaping on those vaporizers. We don't know enough about them to even know what it's going to be in 10 years. We don't know how it's going to affect you. They don't have the information, okay? So I'm out talking about it, all right? You can this is just a message. Hopefully some of you will take a little something from it, okay? All I can do is talk about what I've learned along the way. But I was literally living at a homeless shelter, rolling cigarettes out of an ashtray 19 years ago, guys. That was my life. The clothes on my back, 34 years old. 15 years of my life was gone, and I had no idea what happened. And it happened so fast. Before I knew it, my kids were I had kids, I was sitting in a shelter trying to figure out what happened to wrestling, what happened to that kid with those dreams, those aspirations for his life. What happened, man? And so, you know, all I'm saying, man, is things are going to get tough. Life's going to get hard. It's how we deal with adversity, how we overcome challenges and struggles in our life. That determines your character. That's not who I was, guys. That's what I did.